Trump did a town hall with Hannity in Texas while he was there for the border kerfuffle, something like that. And I'm only gonna do one segment. I've got a couple of segments of it, and they broke it up. This is the Trump made up his mind about running in 2024 during Hannity exclusive. So apparently this is him deciding, about how much money he can make off of this. Hi, I'm sitting here with Sean Hannity, and I'm leaning forward in a weird way because I can't sit in a chair normally.
All right, as we continue Hannity on the ground in Texas tonight, we continue with the former President Donald Trump. What a great crowd.
Yeah, what a great crowd. So good.
We don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, no, we don't.
But let's talk about your future plans. Now, I have a funny...
I'm so proud. I'm so proud.
Let me ask the crowd of everybody here.
Did you think he made up his mind just in that last second? Like, while Hannity's staring at him, like, where are the, like, birds and hearts flying around his head? And then look at the Donald look where he's like, is that the moment he made up his mind? Watch this. Watch his face.
Let me ask the crowd of everybody here.
Let me ask the crowd. What?
Would you like to see the president run again in 2024?
Yeah, we didn't self-select people out and only allow Trump sycophants in. By the way, that dude, I hope there's not an ejection button. He is not applauding. Neither is that person. The woman is clapping, but her child is not. We'll see. Come on now. Great, people. Great. Thank you for weeding out anyone who might not think the sun shines out of my ass, Sean.
You're not going to answer, but I have to ask. Where are you in the process of, let me ask you this, without giving the answer what the answer is, have you made up your mind?
Yes.
I think you got it right. Yeah. When you look,
That's a no.
It's funny because I've known you 25 years.
Uh-huh.
And I remember when you were first talking about running.
I remember when you were saying, how would you feel about being client 3 for Michael Cohen? And you're like, I don't know, I'd rather be client 1. And I'm client 1.
And we actually argued. Remember we'd argue about certain things in Iraq and certain wars and everything? And then you became president. And I remember when I supported...
Remember when you wouldn't let me argue with you anymore.
I said he will govern as a conservative, and people didn't understand. You really governed as conservative as any president in the modern day. That is your...
In the modern day. Yeah, fuck Reagan.
Core belief.
And
yeah.
actually, Sean, you have known me for a long time, and my views have never really changed. I mean, if you look at my views haven't changed. I felt this way about these crazy, endless wars where we're losing so many wonderful, young, beautiful people. And
yeah, if it was just old people dying, I mean, I'd let it slide. What?
we're not fighting. We're just sort of there, and we don't do it. You know, we knocked out ISIS. You saw what I did during a short period of time.
Sure.
Over a period of a year and a half.
Wiped out the caliphate.
ISIS wiped out the caliphate. It was getting
In a way that no one's ever seen.
worse and worse.
It
But
was getting worse and worse. It was actually not. It was actually near the end, and he had to be talked into it. He actually wanted to get out when it was like 70%.
we got to bring our people back home. It's time. 21
Yeah, Biden's doing that.
years in Afghanistan.
You could have done that if you'd have just jump-started the part where you have to bring the people who helped us in Afghanistan here to protect them from getting killed, but you wouldn't do that because you wanted to keep them, you wanted to just leave them in Afghanistan to die, so the generals didn't want to just leave those folks, so they needed that step first. Now Biden's doing that step, he's committed to doing that step, and that's how they're doing it in a big hurry so they can bring people in.
Afghanistan.
He had 4 years to do it.
21 years. And so We rebuilt our military. It was totally depleted. It was terrible. We had jets that were 40 years old, jet fighters that were 40 years old that they didn't make parts for anymore. You had to go to the desert to get the parts.
Yeah, I hate that. When you drive out in the middle of the desert and look through an old scrap heap, basically you had to go to Roswell.
Where they have what they call the airplane graveyards. And we have brand new planes, brand new everything, all made in the USA. No, we have to get...
No, it's the F-35s made in 7 different countries.
We have to get ourselves set. We have to reorient. But the Middle East has been a disaster for this country. We've spent trillions and trillions of dollars. We got nothing. And the beauty was we didn't need their oil anymore, but now we're going to need their oil again because we're not going to be energy independent for very long. I don't believe we are now. And when I left, it was...
Yeah, we are.
It was $1.87 a gallon for gas.
Because no one could drive anywhere?
And now it's $3.50.
It's almost $1.30 more just since Joe's gotten to be president. Let me ask.
I mean, as people have started driving again, as the country has opened, as people can go back to work?
Ask you a question. Because I would argue, and I did argue on air often, that you treated there's a whole other standard for you. If you had sons...
Well, yeah, no other president had a videotape of him come out bragging about grabbing women by the pussy. So that would kind of set that. Now, after, knowing about Lyndon Johnson showing his dick to a reporter, a female reporter, when she asked him about when we're going to get out of Vietnam, and or like the rambling on tape stuff that Nixon said about the Jews, which was very concerning. If that stuff had come out before, if there'd been Nixon tapes before he got elected, and he still got elected, there'd probably be a different level of scrutiny. His first term would have been quite different.
That lied on a gun permit, threw a gun in a dumpster, smoked crack, got
like Mike Lindell,
money from Ukraine with no experience.
Well, no, he was there to facilitate the money being spent. He wasn't actually there as a consultant on oil and gas. He was there with the other guys from his company to shepherd the money from other investors because they trusted his name because they knew because his dad was vice president that he couldn't steal the money and run off to Russia like the last guys did.
Kazakhstan, no experience. Russia with no experience. 100,000.
The Russian money actually was given in a German wing of the country, or sorry, the company, Rosemont Seneca.
$1,000 shopping spree and a $1.5 billion deal with the Bank of China with military connections. I have a funny feeling that the media would go after you. It would be unrelenting. Why does Joe Biden get a pass?
Because none of those things are true. Oh, sorry. He's probably got a better reason.
The Democrats get a pass. Hillary Clinton got a pass. The Democrats get a pass.
Yeah, she got a pass. That's why she lost the election, because of 75,000 nose-holding progressives in those states. That's why.
You look at a guy like Bill Barr, they said they're going to impeach him. And once they said they're going to impeach him, he became afraid. He became afraid. I said, what's wrong with you?
Is that how the conversation went? This is good. This is inside workings of the Trump White House, where he's having conversations with Bill Barr.
Became scared. They go after people. They go after him so hard and so viciously. And all of a sudden, that's what happens. Not in all cases. We have some people that are incredible. But you have some people, they get brought over to the other side for fear. And we can't have that. We have to fight so strong. Look at me. They go after me with Mueller, with this one, with that one, with impeachment 1, impeachment. I call it the impeachment hoax 1 and 2.
It's a great name. It's good. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to do 2, it's going to have some, addendum to it. You know what I mean? Like a Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock kind of a thing. Impeachment 2. Let's see. Me in Ukraine.
And all of this, all nonsense, made up stuff. In fact, they were the ones who were guilty. They come after me. New York radical left prosecutors come after me.
Yeah, this is where it is. This is the part that's getting sweaty. And look at him staring right into the lens. They're coming after me for these things. I didn't even. Is that rolling?
You got to always fight. You got to keep fighting.
Yeah, it's important to fight. And by the way, anybody want to go back and look at all the the compilation videos about how often Democrats say the word fight. Remember that? Remember that whole thing leading up to it? Good Lord.
It's a disgusting.
Yeah, don't forget to give a thumbs up and a like. Click the like. Just do it. Click the like. And if you, by the way, if you're a troll and you're mad about the show and all that kind of stuff, please click the thumbs down. Write something in the comments. Just do it, because it benefits me in the algorithm. It doesn't matter. Like, it's like, to some degree, I mean, my stuff gets unlimited ads because of the stuff I cover anyways, as far as monetization. So it's not even that. But so, you know, a thumbs down might affect that some, but it won't change it on a level that will actually make a difference overall. But as far as the channel goes, it helps me, you know, because other people who like stuff that has been thumbs down by you will also, this will show up in there. You see how it doesn't just work on a positive algorithm, it also works on a negative algorithm. I'm just saying. So thanks for the help. I'm just saying. Thank you, trolls. Thank you.
Thing. It's very unfair.
It's very unfair. It's so unfair. And the worst thing about the Democrats is they all play the victim card.
They don't call politics a blood sport for no reason.
I mean, they really don't, unless they're embarrassing themselves. Politics is not a blood sport. I mean, it is in Russia, but sorry, shouldn't have brought it up. I said the R word.
If you move forward, you know how difficult it is, but you seem ready to re-engage in that battle. Mm-hmm. And when you
it's not that I want to. The country needs it.
Yeah, it's not about me.
We have to take care of this country. I don't want to. Is this fun?
I don't want to.
Fight. We have to take care of.
Listen, I don't want to. Is this fun?
I don't want to. Is this fun? Fighting constantly, fighting always. I mean, the country, what we've done is so important. When I say the greatest tax cuts, now they want to raise your taxes. They want to double your taxes, and the Republic.
No one wants to go from 21% to 42%. No one's suggesting that, especially the administration. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody suggesting nearly everything. As an individual congressperson from all over the country, everywhere, that's, you know, like Rand Paul is suggesting that we decriminalize all drugs and just dump them on street corners near schools. I get it. There's somebody to say it, but no one actually with the means and wherewithal to get it done is suggesting it.
Republicans in the Senate and the House, but the Republicans in the Senate have to fight hard that the taxes don't get up, because that'll be terrible for the country.
I've known you.
The taxes don't get up.
For years. I've watched you for years at
I've been staring through your window. I watch you shower.
Trump Tower. I watched you all the years you were in the White House.
I'm watching you right now. I like the cut of your jib.
You sleep maybe 4 hours a night, 4.5, 5 max. You never stop working. Joe Biden averages less than one scheduled event a day, gets up at 9:30. He gets his warm, milky, and sippy cup around 7 p.m. If he's good, he gets a night-night story. Now, in all seriousness...
fuck America. That's basically what Sean Hannity is saying, by the way.
We saw what happened at the G7, where he just was paralyzed. You see what happens, how he struggled.
And weirdly, he was just paralyzed, apparently. He made a bunch of speeches. We all saw them. But he was just paralyzed. And that's why we have a 5-year truce on a trade embargo or trade issue with Europe, with the European Union about airplane parts. That's over. It's on a 5-year hiatus, so we can go back to buying and selling parts. That was handled.
To communicate. I asked you, and you kind of punted the last time you were on, do you see a cognitive decline in Joe Biden? And
yeah, like, please show us using your biggest words.
What does that mean to America?
So let me say it a little bit differently. He is surrounded by vicious people that are very smart.
Vicious, smart people.
But they don't stand for the values that the people in this room stand for. These are very smart people.
The people in the room are... Oh, so the people in the room aren't smart. The people in Biden that are around Biden are smart.
I mean, he didn't campaign against me. He didn't debate well. He didn't make good...
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. He beat you at the debates. Like, that's not even close.
Speeches.
He hid in the basement.
I watched him on the...
We all did. It was a pandemic.
State of the Union, get up and speak, and it was terrible. It was... I don't want to go into that, but it was terrible. It was a...
I don't want to go into it, but it was awful. and fuck America. Right?
Terrible. And I thought he was going to get killed. And I had to watch your competition just to see what they were saying. Now, FDR was a great speaker.
Oh, we're doing the FDR thing again. He's doing this beat again.
You remember some of the speeches he made were incredible. And the only thing you have to fear is fear itself, with that beautiful thing.
The only thing you have to fear is fear. It's actually kind of a tinny voice because of the microphones of the time. And that's the only piece he knows. Like, I played a chunk of a Roosevelt speech when he brought it up the first time. And if he was running against Roosevelt now, he would call him a commie like Bernie Sanders and say his voice was weak.
They compared him to FDR.
Yeah, about the content of his speech. Now, granted, I understand how you could be confused because technically speaking, you can't understand the concepts in the speech. You only hear the words as they kind of float past you like ping pong balls.
Okay. Now, the good news is they've lost
You should have been watching Hannity. That was not what was happening.
No, I know.
This.
I watched that. Yeah. Well, that one I could have predicted.
Yeah.
But look, there was nothing good. It was embarrassing. And they were comparing him to FDR. Now, it was so embarrassing to watch that. I couldn't believe it. I was surprised. I watched specifically because I said, he's going to get killed. He didn't get killed. He said, great. And Nancy was sitting behind him with the single biggest mask I've ever seen. That was the largest. It covered her entire face. I've never seen anything like it. No, I've never seen anything like it.
It's a crowd pleaser. It's a great gag.
I've got to wrap.
Yeah, they canceled the Arizona rally and the 4th of July. I think one of his Florida rallies got kicked, too.
Didn't rip up his speech either.
Like she did with you, Rip. Mr. President.
No, because it was the context of it was well thought out and actually decent.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, bye. Oh, so there's another piece of it. Hold on. Wait a second.
To go border, where for the entire hour we will be joined by the restricted asylum
I'm in the
case.
weeds. He does his impersonation of Homer Simpson right after this. It's beautiful.
He stopped Obama's disastrous catch and release program. He instituted what was known as the stay in Mexico policy for new migrants.
Jumping ahead.
He negotiated
there
deals.
He is. Hold on.
If I ask this crowd, do you miss them yet? I think I know the answer.
Well, yeah, because you're not letting anybody in who doesn't like him. You're screening them out.
From day one, the day you and Melania
went down the escalator.
Trump came down that escalator.
Oh, God. I'm beginning to think they have to start it out with him and give him a timeline to attach to. Otherwise, he'll get up and go to the car and look in the trunk.
You talked about...
I have not watched this before.
...securing our country's borders. You had to fight hard to get the money to build 500 miles of wall.
Yeah.
To stay in...
Well, you had to... because Mexico didn't? Because you kept saying Mexico was going to pay for it, and Mexico's going to pay for it, and Mexico's never going to pay for
Mexico policy. You built the wall. You ended...
And it doesn't work, apparently?
Catch and release. Now we see what's happening. Your reaction to all of it.
Well, there has never been a better time 6 months ago, and there's never been a worse time. We had the tightest security. You could come into our country legally. But you know what else we were stopping? Massive amounts of drugs, human traffickers, bad people, criminals. They're emptying their jails into our country.
Yeah, and those people walk straight to the United States, and Mexico doesn't care that every Guatemalan rapist is just kind of... Just keep walking.
You know, other countries are emptying their jails into our country. We never had it better, and now we've never had it worse in the history of our country.
Really? This is the worst. All right, well, at least we know what the top is, or the bottom.
I just saw, we're with the governor, the lieutenant governor.
The Shemp governor.
With Ken, we're with a whole group. I think the largest contingent of Congress people ever at the border.
No.
From what I understand.
Yeah, you don't understand much.
I think they're mostly here, too, by the way. I see them, a lot of them right in front of me.
Where else are they going to go?
We had the largest, we even have Doc Ronnie, right? So my doctor,
cognitive test,
who became a congressman.
Oh, no.
By the way, Ronnie, would you mind giving Joe a cognitive test? President Sippy Cup, I don't know how well he's going to do, but anyway, I won't get...
By the way, that's Hannity's nickname for Biden, President Sippy Cup. He says it all the time, just for the record. If you'll notice, by the way, that Trump does not have a bottle of water next to him.
Get you in trouble
He
with
gave
these
me one,
comments.
and we aced it. I think I can say that I aced it.
No, you did not ace it.
He didn't get one question wrong, did he? 30 out of 30.
Yeah, it's a you just got hit in the head with a shovel. What's your name test?
Wow.
And they did get a little more difficult after you got by 15, I would say. But
I heard the first three questions are, is it a giraffe or an elephant, right?
well, you know, that's what the fake news does. They take the first 2 or 3 questions and they put them in. But let me tell you, they would not get those last 15 right. Certainly not the last 10. That
Oh my God, that this asshole thinks that it's hard.
I can tell you. But anyway, but we have a border that's very bad right now and very dangerous for our country. And fortunately, we have a lot of great people in Texas, in particular.
Well, apparently not. Apparently, if you're not in office, they just don't give a shit. They just let everybody walk through.
The job they're doing.
The job they're doing sucks, apparently.
You know what's fascinating?
I mean, how do you do that? How do you go to Texas and Arizona to the border and go, we're just letting people through, and just shit all over the Border Patrol as if they've just stopped giving a damn?
All of a sudden, Biden is blaming you
I know.
for the current crisis.
Well, yeah, because there's stacks of people, asylum seekers, who have been waiting in Mexico, and you never dealt with the backlog.
And
It's called misinformation.
It's fake
They've
news?
done it for 5 years, 6 years. Russia, Russia, Russia. You know, I told you the story. I told Sean the story.
I'm sure. Well, but tell us again, because I'm sure none of us have heard it 10 times.
I'd go around, people would say, sir, do you know anything about Russia? This is when I'm running, years ago. I'd say, no.
I don't know anything about Russia. Really? Great. They're one of our key opponents on the world stage. They lately, in the last 10 years, they've been attempting to hack all of our power grid, hospitals. All the guys. Do you know anything about them? No, I don't know anything about them. You do know that their leader has been shuffling himself into the top position because of the laws there about how long he can serve, and basically is shadow running the country as, when he was prime minister and now as president, and then he's just kind of jockeying back and forth, and he just murders his rivals and jails them and has people killed and sends assassins into Germany and into our country, attempts to kill. Do you know anything about it? No, I don't know anything about it. You might want to brush up.
A month later, do you know anything about Russia? Another guy comes up, sir, do you know anything about, then I get a call from him, do you know anything about Russia? I said, what's going on with Russia?
I don't know. Ask Eric.
And it was the Russia hoax. That was misinformation. Now they're saying it was the Republican Party that wanted to defund the police. You hear that, Billy?
No, they do now.
Billy's not a big defunder of the police, I can tell you. The Republican Party wants to defund the police. This
Well, they're the only ones who voted against the funding.
just started yesterday.
That's because yesterday they voted against using funds from COVID to support local police departments that have lost personnel, and they need money to replace those people. So they voted in Congress, and all the Democrats voted for it, and the only people who voted against it were Republicans. So yesterday. That's why it started yesterday.
I don't know how they're getting away with that one, but all you have to do is, the good thing with you take the old clips. There's no getting away.
I played the greatest hits last night, sir. Yes, I played them all. When you look at what else is happening.
Are you playing the newest hits? Like there's some hot tracks that just dropped. Let me see. Real quick, if I may. Let's see. Vote against police funding. Let's see. I'll go back to this one. I mean, congressional Republicans fought tooth and nail to stop President Biden's American Rescue Plan, which has provided billions of dollars for local law enforcement. Despite congressional Republicans' desperate attempts to distract and muddy the waters, the one question they should answer is, why did they vote against the critical funding for our police? Thanks to President Biden and Democrats' leadership passing the American Rescue Plan, the police departments across the country now have access to $350 billion in funding. Wall Street Journal. Mr. Biden emphasized that state and local officials in areas experiencing surges in gun violence can use $350 billion in COVID-19 relief funding to hire more law enforcement personnel, even if it raises the total number beyond its pre-pandemic level. More cops than before the pandemic. Despite congressional Republicans' universal opposition to this funding, local officials are already accessing American Rescue Plan funds to pay their first responders. Herald Tribune. Bonus payments of $1,000 will go to teachers, principals, first responders, and correctional officers in Florida as part of a roughly $100 billion state budget finalized Tuesday, powered by $6.6 billion in federal COVID-19 recovery cash. Commercial appeal. New guidance from the White House means the city of Memphis may use a windfall of federal money for its ongoing fight against violent crime, including for purposes such as hiring new police officers. Mayor Jim Strickland announced Wednesday. Indy Star. Noblesville police firefighters to receive $2K bonus. Other city employees will get $1K. In New York 360, federal COVID-19 funding will pay to rehire Watertown police officers. But it's not important. I mean, they voted against it. Democrats all voted for it. Never mind.
Too, and it's interesting that
that's a good point. I mean, granted,
we're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
Just to clarify.
States like Florida and South Dakota and many others, they're offering Texas and Arizona support now.
That's right.
And their law enforcement, because in the dark of night, they're taking illegal immigrants, flying them into these states, and now the states are responsible.
They're flying them into you mean they're flying people, children, unaccompanied minors to places like Nebraska where they have groups and organizations and foster care facilities where they can take care of them. You mean those children?
That's right.
For food and
right.
shelter and health care and education. They can't
And
afford
the states don't even know they're coming. They bring people in, and the states don't even know. They say, here, you're taking this. It's an allotment. It's called an allotment.
I love how he thinks he's inventing words.
And the governors, Republican governors, are, by the way, you look at the well-run states, it's all done by, for the most part, Republican governors.
Oh, you mean the ones that are always on the federal tit, who need more money than they give?
All of them. In terms of crime, in terms of everything else. No, we
And you mean in terms of landmass and very low population?
have great Republican governors. We really do.
So the policies that have been reversed. Joe hasn't come to the border. You've been here many times.
Right, because he's down there as a demagogue, and he's demonizing the people who are crossing, so he's using them as a prop.
Kamala really didn't come to the border. It seemed like a photo op to me.
Yeah, and nobody hates a photo op at the border more than Donald Trump.
What would you want them to know that they don't know, or maybe they do know and they don't seem to care about?
Yeah, tell them what they do know or they don't know that they don't know. Give them a Donald Rumsfeld right now.
Well, Kamala wouldn't have come if she didn't hear I was coming.
Oh,
I was
true.
invited by the governor, and I said yes. And I said yes, to my honor.
Because I don't have anything better to
Because we
do.
were very proud of the job
And they took me to a golf course while I was here.
we did. Nobody's ever done the job that we've done. We built over, now I guess it's close to 500 miles of wall. And we were going to build an extra 200 because we had money left over. We were going to do an extra 200.
Why didn't you?
And nobody's ever done this. And all he had to do is go.
An extra. By the way, there was like, remember when he was talking just yesterday? It was like an extra, all they had to do was finish. It was like a month. There's not 200 miles of wall that's going to be done in a month. It's just making shit up.
Another 2 months, and the wall would have been totally completed. And by the way,
And Mike Pillow is not at this event. Mike Pillow was at the Wellington, Ohio thing. He's working on his cyber symposium.
they have to paint the wall. I'm going to give that job to
Jesus.
Brian. We have to paint, great congressman.
No, you can't give him that job. He doesn't have that job. You're not president, neither is he.
We have to paint
The wall. I don't know what. This fixation is so friggin' weird.
the wall because it's starting to rust.
Do what?
Congressman, we have to paint the wall because it's starting to rust. It's supposed to be painted, and they don't even want to paint the wall.
What?
It's so disgraceful. 2 more.
It's a disgraceful wall. I agree. What? What is that? But what?
Months, everything would have been completed.
Yeah, they were all they had to do was one coat of paint. Yeah, he wants to paint it black. Yeah. I see my big wall and I want to paint it black.
And they said, just like with the Keystone Pipeline, they're not going to do it.
yes, the wall is actually a Canadian wall.
48,000 jobs out the window, and an environmental pipeline, much better than other forms of transportation.
Yeah, you assume that that transportation actually has to happen through the United States. It does not. There is no reason why Canadian shale oil can't go east or west to one of their ports and out to market. Bringing it through the United States does not benefit the United States because it's better than trucks. Both suck. Don't bring your shale oil trucks onto our highways.
For the product. So it's...
Yeah, the pipeline's rusty. That's right. Why didn't they paint the pipeline?
When you look at what's happening, and inflation is going to be the killer of them all.
Is it?
Because inflation is going to destroy our country.
Okay, good to know. Just remember that, by the way. I mean, obviously, murderers, rapists, and people, human traffickers are crossing the border or whatever, like The Purge as a series. But don't, I mean, honestly, that's nothing. Nothing. Inflation.
The border is going to destroy our country.
Well, yeah, and then inflation. But when inflation first, inflation will destroy it, and then things will be so expensive that people will stampede across the border from poorer countries to buy the shit.
I want to get to all of that.
Wait, what?
Destroy our country. The border is going to destroy our country.
I want to get...
Whoa! Did you see that? Did you see that? He gibberished for a minute. Can we make gibberish a verb? He was gibberishing again. He had a brain fart. Watch this. Watch. I'm not kidding. Watch what happens.
Inflation is going to destroy our country. The border is going to destroy our country.
I want to get to all of that.
Is going to destroy our country. The border is going to destroy our country.
I want to get to all of that.
The border is going to destroy our country. Cut to the thing. They had a 7-second delay or something for that. Holy shit. I mean, that's amazing.
Inflation is going to destroy our country. The border is going to destroy our country.
I want to...
You know what else? He's saying you know what else. And whatever that else was, they cut it.
Get to all of that.
We're going to get to all that. You know what else?
Destroy our country. The border is going to destroy our country.
I want to get to all of that.
Jesus. Man, and this was live. Wink, wink. It wasn't. I mean, they pre-taped it, obviously. Well, yeah, total brain fart. And Biden's the one.
Destroy our country. The border is going to destroy our country.
And you know this? And you know this? Come on. And you know what else? A person, woman, man, and you know this? Camera TV.
I want to get to all of that. If Donald Trump and...
Oh, they went to commercial and then they came back.
We had a hard time getting video. There were even congressmen, and I know Louis was part of it. I know that Senator...
Yeah, it would be difficult to get anything useful from Louis Gohmert.
Ted Cruz was down here, and many others. I'm not ignoring a lot of you. And I know that if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't allow our cameras in the new cages they were building for kids.
Yeah.
Now, in
the new cages they were building. I see.
2018, they accused you of putting children in cages. It turns out the video was from 2014.
Right.
You were not president. Now, Joe Biden...
Hey, you know what else happened in 2014? VA choice.
Biden is building these cages in the middle of a pandemic.
No, they're not building the cages in the pandemic. They're using the facilities again, but there's actually fewer people in there now. Like, can we stop pretending that there's the same number of people coming through at the height of summer right now in 112-degree heat that there was when it was cooler earlier this year? Can we just, like, when it normally goes up, can we just stop pretending that? I guess not.
Rate of positive cases of COVID.
Yep.
And you know what else?
Kids living on top of each other.
And other than that, there's nothing to like about the whole thing.
Imagine for a second.
Okay.
What would it? What would the?
Whoa! Imagine. Whoa! Imagine if you.
Press have been like, and Democrats been saying, if you had built these new cages, which they're building all over here.
But I really had that because in 2018 and even after 2018,
You mean 2019?
they came out with these horrible pictures. And somebody came up and said, well, it was the contractor. He said, but I built those cages in 2014 during Obama's administration.
Yeah, it wasn't that they exist. It was who was in them and why. That's like saying there's a picture of you hitting someone with a hammer and you're killing that person. And they're going, yeah, but that's, I didn't make the hammer. I didn't hand that guy the hammer. I handed the hammer to somebody else 2 years ago, and they were using it to pound nails. Yeah, but it's the same hammer. It's it.
Administration. And it wasn't Trump. It was Obama that built those cages.
Yeah, but who'd you put in them?
Just got a little bit lucky. And after
A little bit lucky.
we said that, all of a sudden the whole cage thing went away. But now they're building them again because there's so many kids coming in. And, many of the kids are on suicide watch, something we've never heard of. Think of
Yeah. No, they're not. I mean, he made this up a couple days ago.
that. It's so miserable. It's so hot. It's like hell.
Yeah, that's why. It's the heat that's making them commit suicide. So basically global warming. So you believe in.
I mean, I just walked, I will say, although right now I think it was hotter in New York than it was in Texas. It was 101 degrees in New York. This was like, I got here, it was like cool. But their kids are on suicide watch. Think of that.
Sad.
It's a terrible thing.
Because their parents sent them alone into a desert and they don't know anyone and they don't have any contact with anyone. What happened to the 8,800 kids you dumped in Juarez? They're just gone.
90% of the heroin crosses that southern border.
Yeah.
Now,
The fentanyl comes in through the ports.
fentanyl, we've had the two biggest fentanyl busts in the history of the country.
So fentanyl was coming in at a huge spike, but it wasn't until Biden was in office that we had the two biggest busts in history. So it was just getting through before? Is that what was happening?
We're losing over 300 Americans a week, in some cases more.
It's the worst thing of all. A sheriff just said at a meeting we had a round table, and these sheriffs are incredible. The law enforcement in Texas and other places.
Great.
Yeah, wherever they are. I mean, not the NSA, of course. Yeah, Hale Tucker.
It's so incredible. And
Does Hannity have chew stuck in his jaw? No, I think he had jaw threading, like a non-surgical facelift. That's my theory.
he said,
Or he's just got a lot of makeup on. It's hard to tell. Yeah, it'll be MS-13.
I didn't even know this. He said, for the end of our administration, we had fentanyl virtually stopped.
No. All the dips in any stuff that was happening as far as people crossing the border, all related to COVID. No one was going anywhere. That's it.
Now he said it's coming in at levels that we've never seen before.
Well, they're arresting people with it.
We had it stopped. It was very tough to get. It was nasty. Getting through our border, especially with almost the 500 miles of wall, it was nasty
So what happened to the wall? Is it gone? Oh, it rusted. That's right.
to get through.
Yeah, it was a rusty wall. You can, I don't know if you know this, but like, unless they paint the wall, the fentanyl just goes right through.
And these people, and I gave them the right to stop people.
That you didn't give them the right. The Border Patrol's literal job is to stop people. The fuck are you talking about?
Now, they're not even allowed to talk to people.
Well, then how are they rounding them up and shipping them to Nebraska?
You're not allowed to talk to people.
You're not allowed to talk to people.
But again,
What? No, but again. The Border Patrol, who at the Border Patrol is saying that they've gotten orders from the Biden administration not to even talk to people. Just let them through. Everybody just...
People come-
Like, what kind of oath did these assholes take?
coming in is bad. Prisoners and real serious criminals of the world, murderers walking in. I'll never forget. I'm watching, of all places, CNN, okay? This was a short-term watch. And they had a reporter.
He always watches CNN, by the way, because he wants to be on CNN. He knows that Fox is the dregs and they kiss his ass, and he knows that he goes there for the attention, but there's no respect in it.
No, this is before.
I can't hear you. What'd you say?
Oh, no. Well, now their ratings are down 79%. This was. But I'm watching CNN, and
Yeah, there's always a huge drop-off right after a hurricane ends.
a woman reporter is asking, what did you do? What did you do? It's a very famous lip. And this guy looks at her, murder. She said, what? Murder. And they cut off the...
Okay. He mentioned this before, too. Let's see. CNN reporter asks murder... I don't know, whatever. Connection to how the president responded when asked asks immigrant. I don't know how to even phrase this. Let's see, videos. Famous videos of this. Seems to actually examined during arrest and download blast CNN live updates countdown to 2018. CNN Stanford new Chris out CNN reporter. Minnesota police zip tie Asian American CNN producer Sean Penn under crazy El Chapo interview. CNN arrest CNN. Oh, CNN. Oh, okay. Yeah. Anybody know what the hell he's talking about? I mean, I'm sure I'm fine with actually looking it up, but he says it all. He's been saying this one a lot lately. Murder.
Camera. That was the end of that. But we have thousands of hardened.
And by the way, it's a classic clip. Didn't happen during the Biden administration, but it's a classic.
Criminals like we don't even have in this country practically.
Yeah, we don't have murderers in this country. We don't have violent felons in this country. We don't have rapists that just got let out of jail or anything.
MS-13, we took them out by the thousands. You know, I told the story just now. We had the border.
Oh, my God.
The three countries, primarily Guatemala, Honduras.
We've heard this bullshit before.
And back in the would want to land, they couldn't land. They of the three countries. I know the heads of the three countries.
I like them. They send us murderers and rapists.
They're evil.
We have a trade embargo on their rapists.
Evil, but they're not dumb.
I don't know. They're not. Look, we got along. I said, how much?
What did he say?
Smart people. And I like them. They like me. We get along. But, you know, it's like business is business.
You know they're evil, but they're not dumb.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. You know they're evil, but they're not dumb. And I get along with them. You know, it's business.
They're not. Look, we got along. I said, how much do we pay those countries? $500 million, sir. But what does that have to do with it, sir? It has everything to do. Don't pay anymore. We didn't pay. And then I was called.
And then it was caravans.
Stop payment. No, it's called we stopped payment. You ever hear the term we stop payment? And we stop.
Yeah, have you ever heard the term stop payment? Like he does with contractors.
Stop payment. And then the next day I get a call from all three. President, you stop payment. No more money coming into the three countries.
President, no more money coming into the three countries. That's how they talk. That's how they speak. Presidents of these countries, yeah.
I said, that's right. You're not taking your criminals back, but we would love to. Nobody asked us properly. We would love to take we would love to take MS-13 back. They are wonderful people. I said, fine. We sent them back by the thousands. They took them by the thousands.
And then apparently released them from their jails to go back to America. They took them and then released them because apparently, I don't know.
But nobody.
I don't know what he thinks that story means.
Ever done that before. Nobody ever did it before.
Yeah, people said, sir, you're an idiot, sir. It's the greatest sir story ever.
Do you have a theory, an idea? Because
Oh, yes, he has many.
I really can't think of one.
Yeah, well, clearly.
Except that, you know, I think in years gone by, I would argue that there were Republicans that wanted illegal immigration because they get cheap labor.
Right.
And I think that Democrats want to provide something of great worth, which would be amnesty, citizenship.
And you have rhinos. You do have rhinos. Look, the rhinos.
There's a lot of rhinos.
Don't lose this thread. He's setting you up, asshole. He's trying to help you. And never mind.
Rhinos out
The
there.
rhinos sometimes, I may say it.
Yes, I'm for this part. This is the part that makes me happy.
The rhinos of these people. You don't have any rhinos in this room. We probably have 45 congressmen here and women. This room. We probably have 45 congressmen here and women.
Yeah. Congressmen and congresswomen, but, you know, congressmen here and women.
You don't have
Who aren't, you know.
any rhinos in this group, but you have rhinos. I call them weak Republicans.
It's a great phrase. I would trademark it.
They walk into the White House. I've been watching for 4 weeks now. They walk in, they meet Biden. He doesn't know what the hell's happening. They meet Biden. He's sitting. And they're talking about...
And then he doesn't know what's happening, but he walks out with the better deal. They walk out and he has the better deal.
Infrastructure. And finally they walk out, they have a deal, And the deal is a terrible deal, but it's a deal.
What is the deal? What is it? Tell them what the deal is. Tell them what's in it.
And it sort of reminds me of England a long time ago. We have a deal. We have a deal. You remember the deal they made with Germany? Not too good. That didn't
Oh, you mean like the one you made with China, the trade deal during COVID?
work out too well, right? But they reminded me, they walk out, we have a deal, we have a deal. And it was the typical names. There were a couple of good ones in there. I don't know how they got roped in, but they walk in. So they have a deal. And then Biden canceled the deal because the radical left said, you can't make that deal. That deal's no good. We want to
What?
spend $6 trillion.
Well,
And
they would
most of
do
it,
He didn't cancel the deal. What are you talking about? What show is he
They
watching?
would
Out of
backdoor
infrastructure.
everything they didn't get in the deal. They would backdoor through the reconciliation process.
Right. The idea is that we're going to get as much through this as possible. They still have to get past Manchin and Sinema as far as getting the reconciliation because they need all 50, and they have to deal with that part of it. But they're making as much of the infrastructure bipartisan because, technically speaking, the Republicans want this stuff, and they will sign on to it. And then anything that in the reconciliation product that they're going to come up with, they can stiff arm and still claim that they got it for their constituents.
well, we need better leadership at the Senate level. You need better leadership. You need somebody better than Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, go after it.
Mitch McConnell can no longer do the job.
When you know, it was a very difficult process because I was covering it every night. And that was Congress was not assisting you for the money, for the border wall,
You mean the Congress of Mexico?
which was a signature promise that you made
Yeah.
That Mexico would pay for it.
in 2016.
That Mexico would pay for it, repeatedly.
But you found
Who's gonna pay for the wall? Mexico, 100%.
a way to get the
did.
money
Get from military families,
and build the wall. So
from the defense appropriations, and it was money that was going to build living facilities for military families.
What I did is I got a big military budget approved, and I took it out of the military
Which part of that?
because the way
Is it all the same? Did you take it out of fighter jets? What'd you take it
I
out
look
of?
at it,
You didn't take it out of ships.
this is defense. I spent 2.5 years winning lawsuits. We won all of the lawsuits. There were 11. We won every one of them.
And apparently still only built wall where we already had fence.
I started building the wall. It's two.
How much did Congress release for Trump's border wall? He didn't. He appropriated it. Yeah.
2 months.
The final number, I'm not 100% sure on, but just for the record, Trump, Mexico will pay for the wall. Just videos. Is it, you know, I mean, I think this part obviously should matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to Sean Hannity or the folks that are there. Doesn't matter.
From completion, and this guy stops it.
yeah.
And that's tragic, and it's dangerous for Texas and Arizona and every other state. It's tragic.
All right.
Apparently not. So, by the way, that's the end of the show today, guys. I got to sign off.